So the lifespan of the gross body is a maximum 120 years. The lifespan of subtle body is until the big crunch or the big rip. So this study accepts Big Bang. We are going to analyze Big Bang is the origin. The subtle body started to manifest from the time when Big Bang happened until the subtle body continues to exist until the big crunch or the big rip. We will move on to the nature of subtle body. We have not completed the analysis of subtle body. So we have seen the raw material the subtle body is made of. We have seen the 20 components and the subtle body is made of, the 20 functions. The functions of these 20 components that we have seen, that is together the function of the subtle body. Now the fourth factor that we have to analyze is the nature of the subtle body. So coming to the nature of the subtle body, similar to the gross body, the subtle body also continuously changes, but the rate of change will be slow. And this change of the subtle body is coordinated from the top boss, the intellect. Only when the intellect wants to change, it can necessitate a change in the mind. Similarly, it can happen otherwise also. Sometimes the mind changes a lot. Even when the mind changes, there is a registry in the intellect, even if the mind changes. Similarly, the intellect, when it observes, when it sights something better, it will direct the mind to change. For example, when a person is very unhealthy, he always knows it's good to be fit. But for whatever reason, the mind takes over. He doesn't do anything about being fat. But at one point, it clicks. His intellect becomes too powerful. It directs the mind to obey, and the mind directs the body to act. And the action is going to gym, jogging, etc. So, but the change takes a lot of time. The effect, how you see, overnight, a fat guy can't become too slim. He needs to put a lot of effort. So from the bodily level, the changes takes a lot of time. For that to happen, the order comes from the intellect, mind changes, then it pushes the body to act. So the subtle body is also subject to change. Coming back to the lifespan, how long? We know the gross body can maximum exist for 120 years. But suppose, for example, also we said the subtle body moves from one dead body and goes in search for another gross body. So how long that it continues? That will be the question. So the lifespan of the gross body is a maximum 120 years. The lifespan of subtle body is until the big crunch or the big rip. So this study accepts Big Bang. We are going to analyze Big Bang is the origin. The subtle body started to manifest from the time when Big Bang happened until the subtle body continues to exist until the big crunch or the big rip or total dissolution. So that is the lifespan. Now already the entire universe is 13 billion years old. It can continue to last for I don't know how many more billions of years. This subtle body continues until the big crunch. It seems like a big crunch. I don't know if it can be a big rip. It doesn't matter if it is big crunch or big rip, whatever terms that we would use. But at that point, everything goes into dissolution. That's the time the subtle body gets dissolved. Now you might have this argument. Human beings known to exist only few minutes. Earlier the argument was 10,000 to maybe 1 million. I don't know, but it's a matter of detail that you can find it in internet or find it as a fact. Human beings existed, they would say 5 million or 2 million. Then later, that data kept on changing. Even now, as I speak, people are unearthing some scientific evidence that human skulls, they discover, they do carbon dating, and they declare what we have already estimated is wrong. It must go another 10 million years before. Fine, doesn't matter. Even though the Big Bang happened 13 billion years ago, for the subtle body to manifest and take a gross body form, that is the evolution theory, unicellular, and later unicellular thing evolved into. I'm not questioning the unicellular theory, but whatever it is, at some point human being was there, started to exist in planet Earth. We don't know. This I'm talking about planet Earth. We don't know what happens in the trillions of galaxies out there in the observable universe. But keeping this also as a fact that Big Bang happened 13 billion years ago, human being was only 10 million years ago, or say, even let us be a little generous, 100 million years ago human beings existed. But Big Bang happened 13 billion years ago. Big Bang happened 13 billion years ago. For the subtle body to take a gross body, it took 12 billion years plus, and you see human being with full gross body existing. Now, in the entire cosmic scale of time, 12 billion is still nothing. Like before you want to cook food, sometimes cook rice, you need to boil the water first, and then you put rice. So the environment should reach an optimum temperature, and then you start cooking. Similarly, for human being to manifest with the gross body, it could have taken until the cosmic microwave background. Microwave, you cook. This is a very poor joke, but still, thanks to cosmic microwave background, it took a while for human being to exist. But doesn't matter. Big Bang can happen at one time. Human being can come at different scale in the Big Bang. But no matter what, the subtle body begins from the time Big Bang started. It will continue. It can obtain a gross body at one point, but the subtle body will continue until the Big Crunch. So that is the lifespan. That is the nature of the subtle body. That is the lifespan of the subtle body. Now, this subtle body keeps on traveling. Again, we will come after the death of gross physical body, 100 years, 50 years. It goes to next body, and we say it continues up until the time of Big Crunch. We are going to analyze again theory. It talks about reincarnation, past life, future life. All that we are going to discuss when it comes to causation. Now we come to the final aspect of the subtle body. Within the nature of the subtle body, we already saw what is the lifespan of the subtle body. Another nature of the subtle body is in terms of its imperceptibility. We saw earlier the gross body. I can see my gross body. At the same time, I can see the gross body of another human being. But in terms of subtle body, the nature is I can see my gross body. I can see in the sense I can recognize my gross body. I can understand my gross body in the sense my feelings, my desires, my emotions only belong to me. I can only know it fully. I cannot see what is the mind of the other person. That is the nature of the subtle body. My mind and intellect is self-evident to me, but the other person's desires, other person's feelings, emotions, thoughts is imperceptible. It's a highly encrypted password. Like there is always a saying, I don't know how far it is applicable in the West, but in the East, they say it's very difficult to understand a girl's mind. So you can even capture infinity, but it's impossible to understand what is in a girl's mind. That's why even in my own life, I had a lot of girls as friends, but not even once I could have a girlfriend. It's because it's difficult to understand and comprehend the mind of another person. This is another nature of the mind. Now this subtle body we have analyzed in so much detail, right? But please understand what these scientific thinking people, that pumpkin example, hiding the pumpkin, please understand there is a mind and intellect. There are 20 components. You don't need to believe about reincarnation. You don't need to believe about now. You don't need to believe about the pure state of matter. Barring those consciousness, infinite consciousness, all that we are going to deal later. As of now, from what I have told you about these 20 components, you cannot say that these 20 components are not there. But there is a misunderstanding about the whole thing. In the top layer of thinking community, top layer of scientific community, there is a lot of misunderstanding. Again, I would say the same thing. Consciousness, they equate brain, consciousness, mind as intellect, thinking mind, rational mind, all that. Now I have given this is real hair split analysis of the entire subtle body. With this, the total analysis of subtle body is completed. Before we move on to the next body, I thought I would share some more points with you. So whatever I discussed about gross body, everybody knows. Gross body is taught in all high school, universities, in a much deeper scale in medical profession, researchers, etc. As far as the subtle body is concerned, it's taught very elementary level. But whatever I have taught, these 20 components, except, as I said, except the pure state of matter and consciousness and theory of reincarnation, the other aspects of the subtle body is very easy to understand for high school students, right? You yourself can agree, high school students, what do they study? They study complex trigonometry, algebra, calculus, and even basics of quantum physics is introduced in high school level. Particle accelerator, I remember studying cyclotron in high school. So for students, at least in the 50% of the top students, if they can understand that subject, it's very easy for them to understand these 20 components of subtle body, isn't it? Now, this 10 million intellect, I'm sure, 100% sure out of this 10 million, at least 500, even 100,000, and no, these 20 components, I'll be surprised. Still, a large chunk of you are learning this now. It is your responsibility to hand this little bit of knowledge to younger generation. And again, come to psychiatrists. Psychiatrists, day in and day out, they deal with minds. And they know about, of course, few may know thinking and all that. But this kind of 20-component analysis of the subtle body, I'm sure is not known to psychiatrists. If they completely know about this and if they educate the people, then there won't be any psychiatrists left because their job will become null and void. Psychiatrist deals with problems of the mind. But moment the knowledge of intellect is, given to the entire mass of people and the importance of intellect controlling the mind, then where is the job for the psychiatrist? Anyway, I wish at least this 10 million intellects take this up, and to whatever extent that you want to give it to the younger generation is highly appreciated. Now, if you see all top management gurus, experts, so many topics, they can use this aspect of subtle body and they can make a lot of money. Any these management gurus, any management, stress management, time management, relationship management, anything to do with management of objects, management between people, it ultimately boils down to the intellect managing the mind and the mind managing the body. If that understanding is clearly taught, then any damn management you can do. So for that, again, I'm harping on intellect. So when you have a stronger intellect, for you to manage everything well, you need to build a strong intellect. Naturally, the question will come, how do you build a strong intellect? I'll just quickly go through that. Just as you would build a muscle. How do you build muscle? With the gym, you use the existing muscle, you take some nutrients, and then you have to exercise the existing muscle. Likewise, you have to take in the right intelligence from the world, and every human being have an intellect. That is the minimum criteria. If you have an intellect, you are a human being. Now use your existing intellect. Continuously use your existing intellect in all avenues. More you use, more you develop your intellect. This is one. The other way is, for example, intellect is like a knife. It can cut through, it can analyze so many things. Now you compare the gross knife that you have in your kitchen. What happens? Intellect is supposed to be sharp. The knife is supposed to be sharp. If the sharp knife is left aside for months together, it creates rust. It becomes blunt by itself So non-usage of knife makes the knife blunt. Likewise, non-usage of intellect in all aspects of life makes the intellect dull. So use your intellect in every aspect, every decision-making opportunity, you have to make use of the intellect. With the complete analysis of subtle body is over. We will move on to the analysis of the next body, the causal body. CAUSAL, causal body. Many times people write down as casual body. It's not casual body. Don't be casual. Use your intellect. Write it as causal body. Analysis of causal body. This is going to be a little, I wouldn't say tough. For you guys, it's going to be easy. If you understand subtle body, whatever I've discussed earlier, it will be relatively easy for you to understand the next topic.